What's up, guys? So just a few little announcements here that have been going on with Fault as of this past weekend. Now, first of all, Kallari finished her first week. Kallari will be moving on so that everybody can now unlock her. Now, that is with anticipation of the new hero coming up, which has officially been announced as GRUX. I'll go ahead and have gameplay here on the screen. Now, Grux's kit is incredibly interesting. I'll give you guys a more detailed overview once the official kit gets released, right? But be mindful that based off of the video, we can already see that he's got some sort of unstoppable mode similar to Boris. We see that he has a knockup, he has a pull, a lot of CC, meaning that Grux will be viable jungler. He's going to be viable in the solo and probably even viable as a support, to be honest, if you want to go that way with the tanky Grux. Now, as well, the last thing that we're going to talk about here is the patch updates. Now, let's go to the next screen for that one. All right, so as far as the patch updates go, one of the first things that gets mentioned here is, of course, Kallari just got unlocked for everybody that doesn't own the season pass, but they did add a new Rogue Kallari skin to the game. They added a new aspect, and let me tell you guys, junglers are gonna love this one. It's called Aggressor. It's a purple aspect. It says effect number 1, gain 10% movement speed when you go through fog walls. And it decays over 3 seconds. But that means when you're going to gank or when you're coming back from a gank, that's extra movement speed. Combine that with those purple boots you got, that's gonna be fucking wild. Moving on forward, we got effect number 2, while in enemy territory, which I'm presuming means just the second half of the map, the enemy's half of the map, you gain 5 to 30 physical damage based on your level. So if you're a physical damage character, this is going to be fucking clutch for you. Chimera mains, here you go. Now, moving forward, there's a lot of bug fixes on here. We don't go over those. Y'all know this. Now, a few balance changes. Greystone, so on his E, his Champion's Courage, right? They increase the range by 100 units. The angle got increased, so now you can hit more in that little cone to disarm. And then the disarm duration actually got increased to 2 seconds at all levels instead of incrementally going as the game goes on. Now, Grim got a couple changes here. Now, his Q. Now, Ion Blast energy cost got increased, and Ion Blast is the stance, right? And then Ion Blast displacement got decreased. Okay. So, and then his Electron Blast energy cost increase and Electron Blast energy damage decrease. Wow. Okay. So, if I'm not mistaken now, I'll be honest with you guys, I absolutely hate the naming in these, modes. Why not just call it the blue mode, green mode? Just simplify at least one little part of this character's kit. But if I'm not mistaken, Ion Blast is the green/yellow, that the color that nobody can ever figure out. That one that has the traditional Grim Lob, it's gonna cost more, and you're going to be moving them less when you do hit them with it. And then Electron Blast, I do believe that is the blue one that goes through walls. Crazy amount of damage. Now, the max damage on it got decreased, and the early game damage got decreased. It just a whole damage decrease throughout the board, and it's going to cost you more, 20 mana more, basically, per level than before. Well, not mana, but energy. You get what I'm saying there. Now, his mode E, energy gained from ion basic attacks decreased. And then energy gained from surge detonation decreased. Wow, okay. So essentially they're decreasing the energy that he gets back, and on 2 of his modes, they're increasing the energy that it costs to use his main poke ability. So believe it or not, this is a pretty substantial nerf to Grim, because he won't be able to use those abilities as often as possible in order to maintain that lane control. Now, they adjusted some things on Kallari too. Her Shadow Veil, her invisibility, auto trigger cooldown got increased. Basically, for those of you that didn't know, when Kallari reached a certain threshold of life, she would go invisible automatically. The cooldown for that has been increased by an entire minute now. Her base damage got decreased by a lot. They basically halved it, which hurts. Her percentage attack damage increase got increased a little bit. Okay, so it'll make her a little bit more viable when you put more items in there instead of just being strong from the get-go. And then stealth duration decreased. Before, she could be stealth for 24 seconds. That was fucking crazy. Now it's a max of 12 seconds depending on her hero level. That's not bad. That's a little bit more balanced there. Her Assassin Dagger, her mana cost got increased because she was able to spam it like crazy because that cooldown is super low. And her slow changed to 60% at all levels. That's actually really, really, really strong. That's incredibly strong, considering that the mana got increased by only 5 mana and now is 60%. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. So it was a 60% in all levels and now it's incremental. That's fucking needed. Okay. Wow. Too early for me, guys. So if anything here also, for her ultimate, her cooldown got increased and then her passive, the evisceration bonus damage, got decreased. Okay, so she received an overall nerf as far as cooldowns, as far as basic attack damage and all that stuff. Now, as well, Muriel on her ultimate, they increased her cooldown by almost a whole minute. And then her shields actually got increased on level 2 and level 3 upgrades. So it's going to take you longer to get Muriel shields, but they'll be more impactful once you get there. I wonder how that's going to affect these games, especially leading into 40 minutes to an hour, with a lot of them being that way. And then on Sevarog's right mouse button, the duration of the dash basically got reduced by 25%, and the dash speed was increased to compensate. Long story short, they want you to be able to dash to Sevarog, but not take that long to complete that dash. Like a quarter of a second. Nothing too crazy, but I can imagine it's just a more quality of life thing. But if anything, guys, these are the changes. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I appreciate all the support that you guys have been giving over the weekend, over the past few months on the YouTube, on the Twitch, on the Twitter, everything. Thank you so much, guys. And as always, till the next video.